Hi, everybody. Good evening and welcome to the ACHA Power Play Live here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube and, of course, on our Facebook page, which is the Captain Lou Extravaganza Facebook page. And as always, live on X at The Real Captain Lou. Wow. Season 10 of the ACHA Power Play coming to a close tonight, but what a way to end it, as we're going to take a look back at a fantastic 2026 National Tournament in St. Louis at the Centene Ice Center. We crowned 4 brand new champions, and we're going to have our first champions up here momentarily. The Ohio Bobcats with a thrilling win over Adrian in the championship game. First title for them in 22 years. So we're going to talk to head coach Barry Schutte and winning goaltender Matt Zazon momentarily. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk to Taylor Bird and also, I'm drawing a blank here. Taylor Bell, rather, and Megan Stewart from Midland University. You talk about a thrilling win. How about a triple overtime win over Liberty? And then at the top of the next hour, Tanner Cook, the head coach of the Air Force Academy. He's going to stop by and talk about their thrilling championship run. But without any further ado, let's bring the head coach of the Ohio Bobcats, Barry Schutte, and, of course, the game-winning goaltender in that championship game over Adrian, Matt Zazon. Guys, thanks for taking time out to be with us tonight. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having us, Lou. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Coach, I got to ask you, I saw you walk out on the ice after the final horn or buzzer, whatever. Was it jubilation first or relief as a brand new national champion?
Yeah, more jubilation for sure. I think the Ohio Bobcat faithful have been willing this to happen for some time now, and it was 100% joy for our players and all the hard work that they put into it and the entire organization. But for all the Bobcat faithful, true joy to see it all come to fruition. And when you see the fruits of that labor totally come around like that, you're super excited.
Matt, you're in net for that, and you hear that crowd. I mean, they travel so well, and it's got to be uplifting for you, especially in an atmosphere like that on a championship level game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna relate it to Red Wings fans. You know, they travel pretty well. So yeah, our Bobcat faithful did a really good job this year, making it loud at Centene.
So, Coach, I have to ask you this too. Your first game, it was that day 2. That was such a weird day. All the games with the top 4 seeds were close, nail biters. You guys hung on, but the question I wanted to ask you, how much energy does it really take if you're down 3 goals and all of a sudden you're tied and you go ahead? Maybe, I mean, how does a team be able to have anything left in the tank after that to keep going? Because obviously you guys ended up coming back and winning, but how much toll does that take on a team to make a comeback like that to begin with?
Yeah, I think it's a recipe for disaster for sure. And we didn't handle a couple of those situations very well late in the season either, where we got off to early starts. We think it's going to be a relatively easy night, and we take our foot off the gas a little bit, and the other team pushes, and then they get rewarded for it. So mentally and physically exhausting for sure. And it's hard to recover from that. I've been on the wrong side of that many times. You're the favorite, whether you're the favorite or not. If you're winning and have the game in control and then let it slip through your hands like that, it's really hard to stop the momentum and hit the reset button and get focused and get back to the task at hand. And I think it just speaks to the character that was in our room, that they never doubted it. There was always belief, and it's just a matter of someone was going to make a play. And you just hoped you had enough time to do it. So true credit to the guys in the room for responding.
You know, and then did you say anything to them in the locker room going into the third period in that game?
Yeah, I mean, I think we just had to trust the process and believe in ourselves and know that was going to lead to good outcomes. Our focus all year was never on the outcome. It was always process orientated and about our game objectives. And we knew we weren't playing as well as we could be. but it was 100% within our control. And we just needed to get to our game, and we were struggling to do that. So it was a little bit of an opposite day. I feel like in reflecting on it that night and the next morning, whatever coach said, they decided to go do something different. But no, it was simple. We challenged them and told them that this has nothing to do with anyone other than the people in this room right now. And you're going to regret this if you don't do whatever it takes to make it happen. And so just simplify, and try as hard as you can to do your best, to be your best. And that was the message.
Well, I'll tell you, Blake gave me one of my favorite calls in overtime. I know that may have gave you a gray hair or two, but I loved it. So great way for you guys to get through. Matt, I got to say that what I always like to watch is when a team comes out on the ice, and the focus that you guys had going into that Maryville game was unbelievable. You could see it, and obviously the results spoke for it. I mean, a laser focus, and you guys jumped out to a 5-0 lead. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we had a good stern talking to by our head coach there, which got us into shape. Obviously, we didn't play our best in the first game, and we knew that wasn't our own game. The only way we lose is if we beat ourselves.
Yeah.
And there was just a belief in the room that I haven't seen before, where there's no way we're losing. I think every game we went into the game thinking we're going to win this game. Like, this is our game. It's about us.
And I have to ask you, as a goaltender, when you get a lead like that, your boys are up 5-0 after a period, 4 or 5 goals. How difficult is it to stay sharp when you've got a big lead, where mentally you think, we could take the foot off the gas pedal? Is that difficult to do sometimes?
Yeah, for sure. Usually when your team has a lot of shots and, up by a few, you're kind of expecting a weird bounce to kind of go in the back of your net, but you got to not focus on that and just worry about what you can control.
Coach, to go to your semifinal game against Calvin, in my opinion, I thought that was probably your best defensive game you played. That 4-0 score is kind of misleading, and I was really impressed with the defensive side of the ice that you guys played on, especially in the third period when things could have got awry if that goal call would have went the other way. I thought your defense really, really played strong.
Yeah, it did. I thought we got stronger as the tournament went on, for sure. You mentioned the Maryville game, so to come out in the start and get so now you're up a few goals and you think, okay, is history going to repeat itself? So I thought when our guys showed a different resolve in that game to keep their foot on the gas and go ahead, I think we rode that wave out and that momentum into Calvin. But I would agree they were different games. Like, that was more of an offensive puck possession game, maybe a little more lopsided, and Calvin pushed hard. They showed they had plenty of gas in the tank, and we knew they were a good team, and we were going to have to defend their top players, and we wanted to dominate time and space and not allow them the space to get creative and create offense. And our D-corps in particular really stepped up that game, and it was one of the best games they played all year in taking away time and space and breaking pucks out and exiting our zone as clean as possible, so we didn't have to defend all day.
As a coach, when they have a break like that to look at a goal, how nerve-wracking is that for you?
Yeah, well, it depends on the score, I think, a little bit too. That'll get your heart rate up or not. But I mean, you always have an opinion on the bench, and that one, I think every one of us felt like there was lots of reasons why that should not stand as a goal. But again, you've been doing it as long as we've been doing it. You've seen all kinds of results and outcomes for it. So the message is, this doesn't change anything. We got to stay the course. We got to stick to the plan. Goal, no goal. We got to get back to work and get to it.
So, Matt, you guys went into the championship game. When does coach tell you that you get the nod as the starting goaltender for that?
I think that kind of depends on like the week. Like, in this case, it was a tournament, so all three of us goalies were playing phenomenal. I mean, you could have played any of our goalies and we would have been just fine. But in this case, he gave me the nod as I was walking up to my hotel room, and he's like, "You're in net tomorrow, and all good." And I'm like, "Yep, I'm all good, all business."
Yeah, well, it sure showed. And again, my kudos to you. They scored to make it 2-1, but after that, you were a brick wall in net. What were your thoughts going into that last 4 or 5 minutes? Just thinking, it wasn't in the back of your mind, we're close, but what do I get? What did you do maybe a little bit different to step up your effort, maybe, if any?
I'd say I didn't get into my own head. It's not just me in the arena, it's the whole team. If I make a mistake, they got my back. If they make a mistake, I got their back. But that was one of the longer couple minutes of my life playing hockey, for sure.
All right, Coach, I got to ask you, after you got the empty net goal, when did you really think it was time where you're thinking, we did it? Was it at 000, or be honest with me here?
Yeah.
Maybe a few seconds before the final buzzer?
Yeah, no, I was a little nervous after the empty net goal based upon how our group was responding, as if it was 000. I remember the whole bench turning to me and guys jumping on me now it's 3-1. I'm like, there's a minute and 30 seconds left, or a minute and 20. There's still a bunch of time. And I won't bore you with my history, but I lost 2 championship games with my coaching staff with 2-goal leads and 2 empty net goals, and you lose in overtime. That's happened to me twice as a coach. So I was not a believer at that time, I can tell you that. But, once we got within that 30, 45 seconds, I was feeling a little bit better about it. But I was a little concerned about the group, forgetting that we had to finish it. But they quickly dug in and got back to work and stepped up.
Well, it's funny because it's so ironic. After you scored the empty net goal, all I could think of was a couple of years prior when Adrian did that, when they scored to kind of go up 3-0. And I could see Gary Astalis over there. Oh, he was pissed because they were all jumping up and down. He's like, calm down. And that's what I was thinking. Maybe that's going through your head, Barry.
Yeah. No, we definitely thought about it. And as coaches, we talked about it. It's like, hey, we gotta get guys focused here. There's some game to play.
Yeah. So, and Matt, you talk, I got to ask you, obviously the final buzzer is when you can really start to celebrate, but what was going through your mind? Obviously you're still playing, but the last 30 seconds, you got to be thinking, just come on, that clock must not go fast enough for you.
Yeah. I just remember sitting in the crease and being like, just get it out, please. And then after that, I kind of just blacked out, and I was just like, I wish I could go back into that moment and cherish it again.
Yeah.
But that's just unfortunate. I can't. So
how many times have you watched the game over?
Oof. In total, I've watched it full probably twice.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I have to tell you, I've watched probably, I watch it more just to listen to myself to see what I said wrong, but I think I've watched your championship game probably 3 times. But, so Coach, I know obviously you want to win another one next year. Everybody does, but
yeah.
How long did it take for it to sink in for you?
It's been a process, I think, for sure, for our whole group. I think that night, a little shocked initially, even the next day. And then you get home after a day or two at home, it starts to realize, hey, well, wait a minute, these guys did that. And this community was still pinching themselves and you realize how hard it is. this weekend I'm watching the Frozen Four, the NCAA Division I tournament, and they're talking about how long it's been since this school, Michigan hasn't been to the Frozen Four, hasn't won in however many years, and like big time programs that you would think are in the conversation year in and year out, and you're just reminded at how hard it is to win. I don't care what the level. It's a competitive field, whether that's the NHL, AHL, East Coast League, or Division I, Division III, ACHA, and so on. There's lots of competitive teams doing a really good job. and so many things have to go right for you to be winning that last game. That's what my wife said all these other years when only one team's happy at the end of the season that wins their final game. I'm like, well, that's all great, but why can't that be us? So it definitely has been a process for sure. And I would say the last 3 or 4 days here, we've really been able to enjoy it and have a different perspective and look at it from 5,000, 10,000 feet and just really appreciate the journey that we went on together that really started this time last spring. I remember we did a team bonding event with our outdoor pursuit center that had a high ropes course, and the conversation was, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And we had guys that were afraid of heights and didn't want to do it and all that. So it's been a journey for sure. And it's been great. We're grateful to have gone through it, and it's a lot of fun reflecting on it now that our feet have touched the ground again.
So Matt, I have to ask you, I love your fan base. And a few years ago, I had a previous coach on, and I had promised to go down to watch a game at the Bird. And one of your super fans came up to me and said, Lou, we're still waiting. You got to get your ass down here. So what is it like to play in front of such a great fan base? It's to me, it's one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun. It was kind of I wouldn't say a culture change of some sort, but I played D2 my last 3 years.
Okay.
We wouldn't get many fans. We'd maybe get 100, which are family members. And I just remember my first time playing a game there. It's like, oh, okay, this is awesome.
Yeah. It's such a fun arena. Everybody that I talk to says that it's such a great atmosphere. And Coach, getting back to your first day, and I look at all the close games, your point a few minutes ago, this isn't like going to the Stanley Cup playoffs where you can lose a game and still win the series. The teams are so close in the top, in my opinion, the top 16 in the ACHA, if not even more. It's just, you got to bring your A game. You can't take really a shift off, let alone a period, or you could find yourself going home early.
Yeah, no, you really can't. They're all those teams are capable. And the difference really between the rankings at the end of the day is strength of schedule and maybe how teams matched up. It doesn't mean the 15th place team is any worse than the 5th place team necessarily. The formula takes over at that time. So especially with everyone having a long break before the tournament, I think we're an independent team and we don't play playoff hockey for a championship leading up to that, and a lot of those teams too do. So I feel like if you look at it, they get a quick start and they're more ready to take on that first game. So to me, that's always the most difficult, is that first game because of the layoff, and some teams weren't off as long. So no, they're all capable for sure. You know how it works. Some matchups are more difficult than others. A team plays a certain way or forechecks a certain way. That's harder to handle than the other. And so those matchups matter. Are you able to stay disciplined? Is it a 3-2 special teams and power play penalty kills, or is it a 6-5? Because if you play that team and they have 5 or 6 power plays, it's probably a different outcome versus 1 or 2. So all those things matter. And then when you're heavily the favorite based upon seedings, I think that puts a added pressure on the room, and you're not quite yourself. So there's lots that goes into it for sure. I've been super impressed. This is my second year back in the ACHA since 99-2000 was my first year. So it's been a minute, but I can't compliment the league and the members and the quality play and the quality people. It's an impressive tournament, and the level of play is really, really outstanding all the way around.
Boy, I echo those sentiments. This is my 11th year covering the ACHA, and when I started and to now, it's definitely leaps and bounds better. Last question for you, Barry. Now, you don't have to tell me all your secrets, but were you on the phone that night with recruits?
Yeah, no, but we were getting lots of texts. The level of support has been outstanding for every one of our individuals, but obviously for our entire group. And it shouldn't hurt recruiting by any means at all. And some of those kids we've been talking to, I think we're paying attention, which is a good thing. But I think we take a lot of pride in what we stand for on a day-to-day, year-to-year basis as being a top program. And I think that word is starting to get out with the growth of social media and all the things that folks like you are doing now to help promote the individuals and the game. So we take pride in that. But yeah, winning is never a bad thing. I've yet to see that come around, and hopefully some of those young men out there will take notice and realize that we're part of the conversation. I heard a stat, or maybe it was the ACHA article, that 35 years of ACHA hockey, Ohio has been in the top 10 all 35 years. And so if I'm wrong, I apologize, but I believe I'm taking, and that's a mouthful. That's a pretty impressive stat. So we want kids that want to play for championships and want to play for a huge, large Ohio hockey community, and that pressure doesn't wear them down. That pressure lifts them up, and those are the types of kids we're looking for. So we're definitely optimistic. You saw the uptick with UNLV last year. They were definitely able to cash in on some recruiting battles along the way. But the good thing for us right now, Lou, is we've got 22 returners. So we had lots of seniors, but that fifth year is getting cashed in with some of our guys. So we're super excited about the returning group, and that's the group that's going to lead us back to hopefully that game next year.
So, Matt, are you one of them? What's your plans for next year?
Yes, I am going back to play a fifth year.
All right, good deal. So, well, when your schedule comes out, guys, I'm going to find a Saturday game to drive down to from Lansing, Michigan area, and I want to see what the Bird's all about next year.
That'd be great. We'd love to have you, and I don't think you'd be disappointed for sure.
Well, fellas, I'll let you go. Thank you so much for taking time out to be with us tonight. This has been an absolute treat. Congratulations. I know it's a well-deserved championship, a great run for you. Enjoy it, and have a great summer, and look forward to catching up with you both next year as the defending, reigning ACHA Men's Division I champions. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thanks, Lou. Appreciate you having us, and thanks for all that you do for the game. It doesn't go unnoticed, and it's appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
You bet, Matt. Thank you. Coach Barry Schutte and Matt Zazon, the winning goaltender in that championship game, 3-1 over Adrian. What a heck of a game it was. What a heck of a tournament it was. You know, we talk about all 5 of the divisions in one location in St. Louis at the Centene Center. But, you know, we talked about that opening round. Well, the opening round was pretty much chalk. But the second day, I want to go back to that if we can and see if I can bring it up real quick here, the scores from Men's Division I. And, you know, on day 2, you know, you had the top seed, which was Minot. They won 4-3. I mean, and Minot was losing in that one most of the game. Then you had Niagara. They had an easier time with Hope, but you had Nevada, Las Vegas, the defending champs, 3-2 in overtime. They had to win that one. But then, you know, in day 2 it kind of works. You get the opening day for the bit lower seeds, or the higher seeds rather. And then the better seeds get the first round bye. Then they play either Saturday or Sunday. But some of those games on Sunday too. Calvin winning in overtime, 4-3. Liberty squeaking by Utah, 3-2. You know, those again, crazy games. Calvin probably I don't know if Cinderella is the right word for it. They were 11 seed at the tournament, but they were ranked in the top 5 at one point during the year. They defeated Niagara 6-2. And they gave Ohio everything they wanted in that semifinal game. Adrian with a big win over Minot, 4-1. And in the semifinal games, again, Ohio defeated Calvin 4-0. But as we talked with Coach Schutte and with Matt Zazon, that was a lot closer than that. There was an empty net goal, and it was 2-0 in the third period. A goal that was waved off. It could have changed it, made it 2-1. Things would have got tighter. So it was a very tightly played game. And then Adrian with that overtime win, 3-2 over Nevada, Las Vegas. Adrian going to their third straight championship game. But Ohio was not to be denied as they hung on for a 3-1 victory. I don't know if hung on is the right word. It was such a great, just an excellent played game. Such fun to watch. And they win their first championship since 2004, their fifth national championship in the ACHA. I don't know. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the men's Division II national championship run for Florida Gulf Coast. What an exciting finish that was in overtime. And then coming up at the bottom of the hour, we're going to be joined by Taylor Bell and Megan Stewart, two players from the Victorious Lady Warriors team from Midland University. You talk about thrilling. How about a triple overtime championship game? We're going to talk about that and a whole lot more right after this here on the ACHA Power Play.
Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here. Hey, is there a ball game you want to go to last minute? How about the Spartans at Spartan Stadium? Go to the Big House to watch the Wolverines. Is there an NFL game you want to go to? Lambeau Field, Ford Field, wherever, Baltimore. How about the Tigers for the pennant drive? Well, go to SeatGeek. Get those tickets there. Use the promo code Captain Lou right on the screen, and you'll get $20 off of your purchase. It's that simple. So go to the Spartan game. Go to the Big House. But use the promo code Captain Lou at SeatGeek, and you'll be all set.
Well, I guess I better update that commercial, huh? Because football season's still 6 months away. I think we'll do that. We'll get that ready in time for next fall for season 11 of the ACHA Power Play, which, as you know, our year starts right after Labor Day, about the middle of September, the road to St. Louis. It's going to be the road to St. Louis 2027 coming up this fall. But we still got a lot to talk about here on our wrap-up show. Real quick, let's talk about the men's Division II championship, shall we? That was there was some really exciting pool play in that one. Some of the big games. How about Schoolcraft and Montana State 4-2? Army and Maryville, or Tampa rather, right out of the chute, 7-6 in overtime in that one. And in Oklahoma State, the top seed, one of the top seeds, they had a scare from Michigan State, the Cinderellas, who knocked off the defending champs in the regionals. They ended up winning that one 7-4. Florida Gulf Coast, what a machine, 12-1 opening round of pool play. Oklahoma State couldn't quite match that, but 10-1 they won in their second day. Some of the other games, overtime. How about Utah State over St. Thomas, 2-1? Weber State, they needed overtime to beat Northeastern 4-3. But then on Saturday, on getaway day, that's when the games really, really counted. Florida Gulf Coast, they had everything pretty much wrapped up, but they took on Weber State, won that one 4-3. Oklahoma State primed themselves with a 9-2 win. And then, of course, it was semifinal day on Saturday, or on Sunday. Saturday. Okay, I got my days mixed up. It all kind of flowed. It's Monday. That's right. Semifinal Monday. As first of all, I don't know if I can get the right screen up here. First of all, it was St. Thomas against Oklahoma State. That one went right down to the wire. It was 4-4 with about 2 minutes to go. Oklahoma State went on the power play, scored the game-winning goal, and then got an empty netter to win 6-4. And then Florida Gulf Coast rolled against Penn State 6-2 to get into the final. And that final game in Division II was a track meet. Up and down they went, 2-2, going into overtime. And Florida Gulf Coast scored 36 seconds into overtime to win that one 3-2, their first championship since 2019. So congratulations to Florida Gulf Coast. They beat the Oklahoma State team, which I'll tell you is they're definitely they're going to be back. The Cowboys, they've got a great program. They got a great program set up there in Stillwater, and they're going to have an outdoor game coming up here in 2026-27 at Boone Pickens Stadium. That's going to be pretty cool. There's going to be a couple of games there. Really looking forward to it. Well, I know. Let's see. I think we've got Megan and Taylor in the bullpen. I know their cameras are off, but let's see if we can. I don't know if they can hear me. Oh, there's Megan. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. And there's Taylor. How about that? Welcome, ladies. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So, all right. I have to ask you, Taylor. I've heard that you may have a new nickname now. I heard they call you Money.
Oh, really?
Time game winner. What do you think of that? How does that sound?
Sounds all right.
So I got to ask both of you. Either one of you can answer. How tired were you about halfway through that third overtime?
Got him, Nick.
Oh, I was dead. Like it felt like I couldn't even remember what was happening. Like the first and second overtime, like I don't remember. I was gassed.
Safe to say the same for me.
Yeah.
So I heard that one of the true MVPs, I was talking to Liberty's men's coach, their D1 coach, and he said, I don't know who they're going to name the MVP of this tournament for the women. He said, but I think the true MVP is probably the cook, whoever brings you guys the food and the drinks to keep you nourished. Is that what you did in between, in the first and second intermission to keep your energy level up? What do you do when it goes into an overtime situation like that? Taylor,
Yeah.
I'll let you answer the first.
We definitely try to just keep the nerves down, keep everyone calm. We had a few Gatorades being passed around to get the electrolytes in us and stay hydrated. But yeah, definitely keeping the nerves down and just staying hydrated, staying focused.
Megan, so they get the tying goal, make it 3-3 in regulation time. What did you say to yourself or whatever? Because I got to tell you, you turned into a brick wall after that. I only got to see the overtimes because I was overdoing the men's D3 game. But what I saw of you were a fortress, and you didn't allow a goal.
Thank you.
If anything, did you tell yourself to calm down? What did the coaches say at the end of regulation?
I can't really remember what he says. I think it was just a lock in and want it more. And I think I was like, I really want this and I really want this for the girls. And all I could think of is like next shot. Like that's all I could focus on.
And so you were the game-winning goaltender in the first overtime when you had 12 saves. And then you figure, well, what the heck? I'll get 78 saves in a triple overtime game. How much which I know it sounds like a stupid question to me, but is it difficult to play a game like that when you only make 12 saves?
Yeah, I would say sometimes it's harder because like I get cold throughout the game, and like I remember the Adrian game, it was like I didn't have a lot of shots, but I think 12 might have even been a reach. Like my teammate had crazy good defense that game, and yeah, it was just I don't know. It was I remember they had a couple good chances at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then I was just kind of like I got to focus cuz Adrian had a great goalie, and I was like I just got to wait for my team to do their thing, and then that was that.
So Taylor, I go back to the first overtime, and you gals had to kill 2 penalties. I mean, walk us through that, how difficult that was for you to kill those 2 power plays and still maintain to go into the second overtime.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit defeating seeing that ref's arm go up, but our penalty kill has been pretty strong all year, and we've definitely put a lot of time and effort into it. And I know a lot of girls were confident in our penalty kill, and we just went out and did what we did. We pressured hard, definitely made Liberty make their mistakes, and we got it down enough, and it worked for us. So.
No, and then again, I go back to how about the overtime against Maryville? I mean, after the game against Liberty, you're thinking, here we go, or against Adrian, you're thinking, here we go again.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, you scored the overtime goal. Well, it's only 17 minutes in, but oh my goodness, you had to have been on edge throughout that whole game too.
Very much. We definitely all were.
And so, Megan, when did they tell you were going to be the starting goaltender for the championship game?
Whitey told me after Maryville, we were packing up the bus. I was like loading the sticks in or something, and he just kind of stopped me and was like, "You're in tomorrow. Like this is your game. Go get it." And I was like, Okay. I'm going to do that, and then just immediately put the Liberty game on against Dearborn and did my homework.
So I know you had a couple of close games against them this year, and then of course last year. We won't talk about that, but I mean, Taylor, how much extra motivation was there going into the championship game, knowing you get Liberty one more time?
There was a lot. There was so much buildup over the 4 years, and finally going into nationals and knowing this was my last game ever, like not being upset. We had one more game to go. Everyone was on the same page, just letting it all out there and hoping it would go our way.
But you didn't plan on 3 overtime games, though, right?
No, we were not planning on that.
Okay, so Coach White called me this afternoon because he had a scheduling snafu, and I totally get it. Family comes first. So I get to ask you these questions without him here. That's his penance. What was he like in the overtimes? Was he nervous? Was he just chatty? Tell us a little bit about how Coach White was in those, especially going into the third overtime.
No, he was definitely very nervous, and I know that he was getting tired himself. So he was pretty quiet. Not much going on, not much for him to say, but he was happy for us, and he just knew that we were all gassed, and he kept trying to encourage us and get us to keep going. But no, he was definitely nervous.
So Megan, how did you guys get the Central Maine Community College guys cheering for you behind in the stands there? I thought that was amazing. That was so much fun to watch. How did you talk them into it?
Honestly, I don't know. I remember they were cheering for us when we were getting the medals, and then I FaceTimed my mom after the game, and they could hear it on like the mic in the live stream, and I had no idea that they were chanting for me. I think our parents, probably the team's parents, had something to do with it because they're great.
So I know, like I said, you lost to them in the region or I think it was the semifinals last year. I remember your overtime win against Minot. I think I got to call that game. Such a thrilling game there. But when did you ladies start to focus on your season run, let alone getting back to nationals after the nationals last year? Did you talk about it during the summer, or when you came back? How did that all come to play?
Yeah, no, we definitely came home after nationals. We had to talk about it. We took a couple weeks off, and then we were back at the postseason grind. And then over the summer, we had, I think, 2 or 3 meetings talking about it, focusing on workouts and eating well. And yeah, we were just looking at the bigger picture for the next following season.
So Taylor, you said this is you're graduating, right?
Yes.
What how's it changed? I mean, since you walked on, or not walked on, you know what I mean? Since you came on as a freshman and started playing, I mean, how long did it take you to get used to the atmosphere and to the ACHA women's hockey?
I mean, freshman year was definitely a big change. Obviously, the league and the pace of hockey was a little bit more intense and different. And I don't know, I feel like it finally took me until like the end of my sophomore year to get the hang of it. I feel like that's when I saw my true jump into the league. And yeah, it was cool to see.
Now, Megan, are you a senior?
No, I'm a junior.
Oh, so
I got one more.
You come back next year to defend the crown, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So I have to ask you, when you gals got the power play, Megan, and how much did your confidence level go up, seeing that you had the extra attacker out on the ice for that?
I mean, obviously I was like, this is the chance, but like I was just so tired. I was like they better score. I'm like, so tired. That was my main thing, is like I don't even think I remembered it being on the power play. But because I remember it being in the zone, and then it went down, and then just we scored, and then I was like, oh yeah, it was a power play goal.
So Taylor, walk us through the game winner. I mean, if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure. Well, obviously we went on the power play, and they were doing really well the first minute, and then the girls obviously got tired, so it was my turn to go on. I took Ashlyn Kufler off. I see that there's kind of a opportunity for Liberty in our end, so I'm coming back to our zone, and then I peel off because I see McGuire has the puck. So I just peel off. She's looking to get me the puck, and then she banks past it to me. It works. I'm going in the zone. I see Darby Poole is with me, but she happens to fall down. So I was like, well, I guess I'll shoot it. So I put it on net, and then I just kept going and got my own rebound, and it went in. So
And say the rest is history. That's
Yep.
awesome. And before that, you had chances. I know you had a couple of goalpost shots. The team did, and it just had to feel like sooner or later one of them was going to go in.
For sure, yeah.
And so how long did it take to sink in? Taylor, I'll ask you first. How long did it take to sink in that your ladies reached the mountaintop?
I think it was definitely a couple of days. Like
Okay.
once we got back to Fremont, I was still like, oh my gosh, it hadn't hit me yet. I feel like it still maybe fully hasn't yet, but starting to get there, it was just so surreal and so awesome.
And Megan, how about you? I know it seemed like such a whirlwind, and I know you were tired. How the next day you woke up, did it start to sink in then?
Yeah, I would honestly I think it was maybe the Tuesday in class,
Okay.
because someone came up to me and said congratulations, and I was like, oh, this is something we can almost brag about now. It's crazy that we got it under our belt. I owe T-Bell 10 grand or something for scoring, because this is this is the best moment ever. It was oh my gosh, we did that. Our team did that.
I like T-Bell better than money.
Oh.
Me too.
keep that one. So, and then how surprised were you, Megan, that you got the MVP award? I'm not, but how surprised were you?
I was shocked. I thought Taylor was getting it for sure. I remember I could hear I was hearing the announcement for it, that they were announcing that next, and Kira McGregor was beside me, and I remember turning to her and I was like, oh, hands down, T-Bell's getting this. and Kira was like, oh yeah, for sure. And I look over and was like, oh, it's T-Bell. And then they said me, and I was like, oh, that's crazy, because I didn't expect it. And T-Bell actually got the MVP for we give a hard hat out at the end of every game, our team,
Yeah.
and she got that one. So I think we're both pretty good MVPs for the team.
Oh, I'd say so. It's a heck of a run, and it's so hard. I just admire how well you ladies do. It's a grind, throughout the year, and then once you get that spotlight, man, I'll tell you what, it's very difficult. You should be very proud of yourselves. Such a great run. So Taylor, you're graduating this spring. What's going to be in your future now?
I recently applied to be an ultrasound technician at Red River College in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So I'm just waiting to see if I get in or not. But after I graduate in May, I'll definitely be going back home and furthering my education.
And Megan, you've got another year left. So I'm going to ask you this first. I always ask everybody that comes on the show, Megan, who's your favorite NHL team?
Montreal Canadiens. I just saw them play on Saturday, actually.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're my second favorite because I've got family that way back in the day. Taylor, how about you?
I'm a Boston Bruins fan.
You guys ever drop the gloves in the middle of the ice?
No.
I didn't even know that. I just found that out.
Well, that's funny. Well, as you can see, I'm a Red Wings fan, and we're struggling right now. Gosh, I just losing to the Penguins 2-0. Man, that stinks. We're gonna end up not making the playoffs again. And even the Canadians are gonna make it. Wow.
Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah. So when does practice start back up for you then, Megan? You get the summer to just kind of relax? Are you going to start your meetings again soon? How does that work for you?
Our team's just at our end of year meetings with the coach, but we get a little break from hockey until the next season starts in August. But I'm playing hockey over the summer. I'm sure it's the same with most of the girls. We got our workout programs to follow. We're starting up in the gym on Monday again, and yeah, I'll probably in May. I think I have a game the third week of May to go to for a league. Hockey doesn't stay too far away from me, for sure.
Well, do yourself a favor. Win one in regulation time, will you?
That's the goal for next year, for sure. Although, at least we know we have a good OT.
Well, that's for sure. Yeah, it's funny because I wanted to ask Coach White. I'll never forget when. Oh gosh, now I'm drawing a blank. Tampa Bay's coach, John Cooper, First thing they asked him how he was feeling, he said, "My feet were freezing." I wanted to ask, I'll never forget that. Ask him if his feet were cold standing on the bench, especially in that rink. That rink's an ice box.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Man. No, I could see why you were cold. My goodness, man.
Yeah.
2 years ago when I broadcasted the games there, I brought a little portable heater. So if I ever broadcast another game there, that portable heater's coming up. I'll tell you what, Megan, I'll put one behind your goal next year if you guys are.
Thank you. I'll need it.
Well, ladies, congratulations on a great run to the championship. So exciting. Now that's the school's first one, right?
Yep. For hockey anyways, yes it is.
Yeah.
There you go. Now you get to be the standard there. You know, as Ric Flair always said, in order to stay number one, you got to be number one. And that's what you ladies are right now, number one. So congratulations on the big win. I hope you cherish it forever. And Taylor, good luck with your studies. And Megan, I look forward to watching you next year, defending your belt in goal as the champions in women's D1. Thanks, ladies, for coming on.
Thank you so much.
All right. Megan Stewart and Taylor Bell, the winning players from Midland University Lady Warriors. Of course, Taylor, Megan Stewart, the MVP, 78 saves in that triple overtime game against Liberty in a 4-3 win in overtime. They were up 3-1, gave up a couple of goals. We all know the toughest lead in sports is a 2-goal lead. They're able to hang on to win that one. Or hang on to keep it tied into regulation, and then won 4-3 in triple overtime. And Taylor Bell getting the game-winning goal. She had a couple of those overtime game winners, and the captain on the team. They've got it's so exciting to see a team win their first championship. We're going to talk with Tanner Cook, the head coach of the Air Force Academy. They won their first in D3 this year. So I know how hard Midland's worked to get to the top. They've had some close calls, and they got over the stumbling block, which was Liberty University. And number one, there's no shame in not being able to beat them because they're the standard bearer. They've won how many championships? But Midland proved that if you play your game and you get a couple of bounces, you can win. And it's not just luck either. I mean, they're a very, very solid program. They have been for years. And it's going to be fun to watch them in 26-27 as they are now the new women's ACHA Division I national champions. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to listen to that outdated commercial one more time and then come back, and we'll finish up with men's Division II. And then we'll talk about the ladies' Division II championship run. As we like to say, some things change, some things stay the same. Sioux College back on top in Division II. All right, you're watching the ACHA Power Play right here on the Captain Lou Sports Network on YouTube, and of course on our Facebook page, Captain Lou Extravaganza, and also on X at The Real Captain Lou. We'll be right back.
Hi, everybody. Captain Lou here. Hey, is there a ball game you want to go to last minute? How about the Spartans at Spartan Stadium? Go to the Big House to watch the Wolverines. Is there an NFL game you want to go to? Lambeau Field, Ford Field, wherever, Baltimore. How about the Tigers for the pennant drive? Well, go to SeatGeek. Get those tickets there. Use the promo code Captain Lou right on the screen, and you'll get $20 off of your purchase. It's that simple. So go to the Spartan game. Go to the Big House. But use the promo code Captain Lou at SeatGeek, and you'll be all set.
And again, thanks to Megan Stewart and to Taylor Bell for coming on from Midland University as they get to relish in their championship season. The women's Division I national champions, that being the Midland Lady Warriors. All right, everybody, welcome again to the ACHA Power Play, the season 10 finale. Hard to believe this. It always flies by, doesn't it? We always start in September and we think, all right, 6 months to nationals. The road to St. Louis starts. Then it's 5 months. We talk about the marathon portion of the schedule. We get the coaches on, the players. And then boom, right after the holiday, then it's Christmas time. That gets past New Year's. And then boom, before you know it, we've got 2 months to go before nationals. You get men's Division II regionals. You get the conference tournaments. the auto bids determined. Then here we are. We're in St. Louis, and it flies by. And it's hard to believe we've been doing this for 10 years and look forward to doing it for at least 10 more, if not more. As long as I can still speak, that's how we're going to do the ACHA Power Play. So, again, I want to thank everybody throughout the year that has taken time out to be with us, watching us, being on the program, all the coaches, executives, you name it, from Dave Kurtz on down. It's all the coaches. It's without you, the show isn't possible, and without the players. And I look back on it and over the years how this show has evolved along with the ACHA. Starting it, the first year we started was just a D3 show with D3 coaches and players. And, when everybody came together for the one location championships, how the show expanded. And it's going to be bigger and better than ever coming up in 26, 27. I'm going to have more time dedicated to the show with my day job, if you will. I'm retiring from that on Friday. So, yeah, I'm going to bigger and better things even coming up this year. And so really looking forward to that. Season 11 coming up in the fall. Hey, let's take a look back real quick. We mentioned the men's Division II national championship run for Florida Gulf Coast. They pretty much, eased their way. They made their way rather easily through pool play. And then, of course, their semifinal win over Penn State. Oklahoma State, again, I want to give them props. They had a very easy run pretty much through the regionals, through the regionals too. I think they outscored their opponents 19-2, but then they got into pool play, had a pretty good run through pool play. I know they had a little bit of a scare from upset-minded Michigan State early, but then they kind of turned it up a gear and then got into the semifinal round, and they had a heck of a matchup with St. Thomas, winning that one 6-4. It was 4-4 going in with about 2 minutes and change left in the third period. They got a power play, scored the power play goal, then got the game winner moments later on the empty net, 6-4. So you look at these top two teams and you're thinking, all right, they could score goals in bunches. You're thinking 6-5, 7-6. A championship game. It was going to be a track meet. Well, it was a track meet, all right, but it was goaltending extraordinaire that really, I'm not saying it took center stage, but how can you not like what Jason Thomas did, 39 saves in a losing effort, and Keegan Wise, he may have only had 23 saves, but I'm telling you what, numerous scoring chances for both teams. It was one heck of a matchup. And again, Jordan Carafile, right out of the chute, 2 minutes and 16 seconds in, he got Oklahoma State a 1-0 lead. That held until, ironically enough, 2:26, Cole Bowman with a blast to tie it up. But then Oklahoma State, they got a goal in the last couple of minutes. You wonder if those are backbreakers when you've got all of a sudden you get that momentum. They go up 2-1, but then Anthony Zebley tied it up at 2 in the third period. And then we went to overtime. Who would have thought it would have stayed 2-2 for the remainder of that game? And then went into overtime, and it didn't take long. Oklahoma State won the faceoff. I think they got a shot on net in the overtime where they had puck possession down in the Florida State zone. Florida State was able to clear it out. Then Cole Bowman, the snipe, just inside the blue line, left side, found the back of the net, and Bedlam broke loose and Centene for Florida Gulf Coast. Eric Mabey, congratulations to him, the head coach of Florida Gulf Coast. I know they're another program, rich history in the ACHA at the D2 level and the D3 level. It's great to see them back in D3 at the national scene. D2, they're always there. And I know there's Eric's had big shoes to fill with Bob Brinkworth stepping aside. Of course, he had national championships back in the last decade. Eric, maybe great championship for them. Congratulations on their win. Florida Gulf Coast, the men's Division II national champions. And now let's we talk about Division II. Let's go to the women's side, women's Division II, as it is. We talk about a team that's always there. Sioux College, Megan Dubas's team. They rolled through the regular season, no doubt about it. And then, of course, we go into pool play in women's Division II. They had a little bit of a scare on day 3, on moving day. They're actually losing in the first period. The only reason I bring it up is that was the first period they were behind in 4 years. That's insane. So, but they were able to, obviously, to pull it off. Excuse me. They were able to beat Providence 2-1. They hung on. Assiniboine, they won their pool, clinched it with a 5-0 win over a very good Northern Michigan team, by the way. Then you had Boston College. They clinched theirs with a 7-1 win over the Naval Academy. And then St. Thomas, they clinched their pool as well. And so that set up the Final Four in Women's Division II, as it was Assiniboine against Boston College. And Boston College gave Assiniboine all they wanted in that one. It was Assiniboine with a 1-0 lead early at 3:22. Boston College scored the next 2. They're up 2-1 in the second. Victoria Mann answered a minute later to tie it up at 2. And then in about 12 minutes and 35 seconds into overtime, Veronica Smars with the game winner, 3-2 for Assiniboine. They hung on and set up the match, the rematch against Sioux College. Sioux College, a convincing 7-0 win over St. Thomas, and that set up championship Thursday, I beg your pardon, for the Women's Division II. And who would have thought that Peyton Stoss's goal at 59 seconds would be the only one in that matchup between these two powerhouses. 38 shots on goal for Sioux College, 29 for Assiniboine. And it was just the penalty kill for Assiniboine, or for Sioux College, or Assiniboine rather, was amazing. They killed off 5 power plays in that matchup. And they had a power play opportunity of their own in the third period. But Sioux College, again, was just stellar in net. Farrah Farstead, she's been a household name in Women's Division II. She had 29 saves. Rachel Halderson as well, 37 saves. That goal, 59 seconds into the opening period, stood. So congratulations to Sioux College. Now the 4-time defending champions in Women's Division II. But that's it. We're going to have a brand new Women's Division II champion next year, because Sioux College is taking their talents up to D1. And I know they've got Midland on their sights, as they would love nothing better than to dethrone them, as they've been a powerhouse. Assiniboine and Sioux College, they've won the last, 6 national championships in Women's Division II. So that's going to be interesting to see how Sioux College fares next year at the D1 level. I know they're excited for it. They've been waiting for this opportunity. Now they're going to go to prove their wares. Kind of like, let's see, it's like their men's Division III team back in 2019 when they steamrolled everybody to win that national championship. I think they beat Grand Valley 11-2. They went to Division II the following year, and I think COVID really ruined an opportunity for them. I think they were loaded that year. They would have made a lot of noise at the D2 level in the national tournament. Since then, they really haven't been able to get out of pool play. So they, but they will see their wares now at Division II, or Division I rather, on the women's side. So congratulations to Sioux College, 4-time champion now in Women's Division II. There's some dynasties, and they're one of them. They're going to retire that dynasty unless they can go up to D1 and keep the string going. But there's a lot of teams that are going to be in their way. Midland, I know Liberty is going to be chomping at the bit. They're going to be chewing nails because, so close to getting their 7th in 8 years. Midland shut the door on them. Then you've got Maryville, you've got Michigan Dearborn, you've got all kinds of great teams in Women's Division I. So, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do with that as well. So, all right, that's 4 divisions out of 5. Momentarily, we're going to be joined by Tanner Cook. He's the head coach of the United States Air Force Academy, another team that really was knocking on the door. They've been, as a matter of fact, let's bring them in right now. Let's bring in the head coach of the United States Air Force Academy, fresh off their big win in the national tournament, Tanner Cook. Tanner, thanks for taking time out to be with us. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me, Luke.
So, all right, I asked Barry Schutte, the head coach of Ohio, because I know they've been close. They finally got to the mountaintop. What was your first feeling when the clock hit 000? Jubilation or relief?
I'd have to lean more on the relief side of that one, especially after how things ended the pre. Making up for our lack of a third period last year and really sealing the deal this year. I mean, it was just truly a full sense of relief that, hey, we did it. We proved that we belong here. And I mean, it meant the world to our guys.
All right. I'm going to get the question out of the way right now. When did you start working on after that loss? I mean, and how much did you use that as a motivational tool? I know it's Captain Obvious question, but I have to ask it.
No, absolutely. I mean, the answer is right away. I mean, the boys in the off season, they were training right away. I mean, it was in the back of their minds and fresh. I mean, going into spring break, I had guys texting me, juniors talking about getting plans together for the summer sessions and figuring out guys' schedules so they could get to work right away. Yeah, so it started early and often. I certainly had a lot of self-reflection after that game, had multiple discussions with our GM, Mr. Hartshee, on the way home from that trip. And we definitely adjusted our approach to the season this year, and obviously it paid off.
And I swear to God, Tanner, I'm not bringing up bad things, but you get to the regular season, you lose your first game, and you're like, all right, boys, come on. What did you say to them? Because they didn't lose again the rest of the year.
Well, I mean, there was a bit of a come to Jesus talk in that locker room after that first loss there. There was a serious need for an attitude adjustment. We went into that game thinking we were top dog. We didn't deserve to lose. We couldn't possibly lose. And there certainly needed to be an adjustment of expectations. And that really turned the season around. We went from assuming that we had already earned it and it should just be given to us to something that we knew we had to seek out every single minute of every single game.
So after that, what was the secret sauce then? Is that it? Just keeping the focus on getting back to St. Louis?
Yeah, like I said, it was that real attitude adjustment.
Yeah.
I got a lot of guys who are good at hockey. Some of them, while cut from the D1 program, they're a little bit sometimes better than some of our guys that are just coming straight from high school hockey.
Yeah.
And so it definitely took an adjustment where it was no longer about the individual. It was about, especially those top guys, working with some of our lower guys to elevate the total level of our game rather than just focus on leaning on one or two guys.
So I want to go now to the tournament. We got to see you or broadcast your game against Tampa, and you jumped out to a quick 3-0 lead. I mean, there was two teams that I saw with a look of focus, and it was Ohio and you guys. And I could see you coming out for warm-ups in that game against Tampa. And it's something that I saw obviously in the final, in the semis as well. But that focus led to such a big lead. I thought that was very impressive.
Yeah, the Tampa game, I mean, we certainly had it was nice to get off to that early lead, but I mean, we certainly had some back and forth. They were nothing to joke about.
Yeah.
They definitely gave us a little bit of a worry there, especially in that second period. But yeah, I mean, our boys wanted it bad this year, and they proved it.
Well, I want to tell you, one of the things that really impressed me the most about that and the tournament was I love the play of Cooper Feinberg. When he crashed the net to get that goal in that Tampa game, that to me was impressive. And that stuck in the back of my mind the whole rest of the tournament. He was one of my favorite two-way players.
Absolutely. Cooper's been a great addition. I mean, he was pivotal last year as well. But he really has been a little bit of the glue in our team. And if you notice, we actually don't typically start him. He quarterbacks our second line there with Joe Cesario. And then for most of the season, it was Caden Green, but he unfortunately had to leave for the semi and finals because he had that jump program requirement for the skydiving team. So we filled in with Matthew Ebsol. But regardless, Cooper, I really gave him that second line and let him quarterback it. And then him and Joe really adjust their play and work off of each other really well. So that's Cooper is such a uniquely great player in how he understands the game, and he is able to adjust the style that his line actually plays with. I don't even bother telling him what forecheck or what defensive style to play. Cooper just quarterbacks it in the game time decisions. So, I mean, he's a guy that I can really depend on to run that second line.
You mentioned Joe Cesario. I thought, to me, in the championship game, I thought he was my MVP of the championship game. I thought he played so strong, keeping Oakland at bay and then getting to light the lamp. I thought he had a great game.
Absolutely, he did. I mean, he had 2 goals there, and then I think he had another assist as well to his name in that game. He really showed up, especially in the semifinal and final. He toughed it out. He took a couple hard shots. He was definitely sucking wind there, especially that championship game. I think we were playing our 1s and 2s for pretty much the entirety of the game, so they were going back-to-back shifts. Joe really stepped up in a big way, and honestly, in that final game as well, Sam Jacobs, he really showed up as well. I mean, Sam's a great player, but we hadn't necessarily seen the most points out of him through the season up to the end of that tournament there. But in that semifinal and final, Sam also showed up big for us.
I want to take you back to the third game of pool play. We're joined by Tanner Cook, by the way, the head coach of the Air Force Academy, brand new men's Division III national champions. The scenario, if I wasn't mistaken, we were talking about it on the broadcast, was you could lose as long as you didn't give up a boatload of goals. How were you thinking about that? That mindset? What is kind of a unique situation for you guys? Am I not mistaken?
So we wish it had ended up that way. It had depended on the outcome of the game before that. We were actually hoping for Tampa to beat Wentworth. But because the Boston team there squeaked out that win there, it came down to just head-to-head against Florida there. So no, we absolutely had to win there. So there was no chance where we could lose there. So I really wanted to get my backup Tendy in for that third game. He's a great goalie. I mean, he's a new freshman, Adam Kosmarek. Use him as much as we can. I was hoping to give Kelly Kane a break there in that third game, but because we had to win there, I had to go with my best guy. And I mean, it showed. I mean, we needed him. It was no joke there that third game.
Yeah, no, it was. I saw that you guys took care of business in the third period, but I bet you a couple of gray hairs might have started to sprout, eh?
Yeah, more than a couple. I'll say the gray in the eyebrows is already coming in at this young age.
So, well, we'll talk sometime about when my gray hair came in. So let's go to the semifinal. That was a bruiser. I mean, you and Calvin went back and forth, and it's like I talked to you guys. I think after the game, I know I talked to Tim about it. I'm like, have you ever seen anything like that where 2 goals were scored like in the manner they were in 2 minutes and 11 seconds? That was crazy.
That was a weird one, and both of them were weird shots from out high and wide. And then I don't know if it was both goalies just trying to get used to the black seating in there. I mean, I know you can lose the puck in there. We saw that even last year playing in that rink. But yeah, I mean, it definitely. I mean, because we got that first one, and then we were riding high, and then they immediately answered, and it was just. It definitely took us. It took us a second to reset there and go, okay, let's just view this as 0-0 now. Let's not get too high, not get too low. Let's level out here a little bit and get back to our game.
Well, and then, even going into the third period, but you were able to pull heads. You mentioned Sam Jacobs having a wonderful third period, getting a couple of goals there to set you into going to the finals. So let's go to the championship game real quick. And you guys, obviously came out on top. 3 unanswered goals. And then again, things got a little scary after giving up the overtime goal. But what did you say to the boys going into the third period?
Well, I mean, it's as expected. I walk into that locker room and go, "Hey, boys, we've been here before. Those of you that played for me last year, I mean, this exact same goal differential we went into last year. We are not allowed to step off the gas here. We need to go pedal all the way to the floor and give me everything you have for the last 20 minutes." I mean, some of my seniors, boys, it's your last 20 minutes of real competitive hockey here. Yeah. Don't hold anything back here. I mean, and they showed up in a big way. I mean, Brett Oberle and Aiden Ekstrand and Cooper Feinberg back there on D. And I mean, they showed up in a big way and they motivated the boys. They came out of that locker room just itching and raring, ready to go. So it was a true pleasure going into that third period, stepping on that bench and seeing them all just absolutely laser focused and ready to go.
So I know this is probably a dumb question, but when did you start to think, wow, I think we might have this?
Well, I'll be honest. I look up at the clock and there's 3 minutes left. I go, oh my God, there's only 3 minutes left. I felt like that period went by so damn fast. But it really wasn't up until we got that one more goal from Cooper there at the end, or who was it that scored that at the end? That was Joe right at the end.
Yep.
But yeah, right when Joe got that goal, that's when it started feeling real.
Well, Tanner, I know Tim has been kind enough to come on with me over the years. Gosh, I think he was on my show. We were just talking about before he called 10 years ago. I think he came on. He was one of my first guests, and I know you guys have made a lot of trips to nationals, and it was a prolonged building process, getting out of pool play, getting to the semis, and then getting to the finals. I couldn't be happier for a group of coaches and a group of guys like you guys, because you've definitely paid your dues to climb the mountain to get that championship, man. Had to have been a great feeling in that locker room.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the boys were ecstatic. And even before I even got into that locker room, my phone was just blowing up with all our alumni and parents and support groups and this, that, and the other. Just congratulations going all around. I mean, I'm getting texts from guys all over the world in different time zones at different bases and everything else. But it was a true pleasure. And I mean, my heart and everything else that goes out to all those guys that came before and really built the foundation that made this possible. So, I mean, our support group is unbelievable. And that said, I mean, the boys had to put in the work this year and they absolutely earned it. So walking into that locker room was pure euphoria.
And I look at your roster, Tanner, and you got a lot of horses coming back next year. You guys are going to be a formidable foe, to say the least.
That we do, and I'll definitely be watching from afar because I'm unfortunately PCSing. So my time as coaching this team is unfortunately at an end as of last year, but as of this year. But I'll definitely be watching, and I know Mr. Hartsey will still be around helping out with the team. But there should be a new head coach next year that they're working on. But yeah, we got a lot of guys that are returning that are going to do well, and I let them know while we were celebrating right towards the end. I was like, hey, you did it once. Now I expect you guys to come back and do it again next year because, like you said, we got a lot of guys returning that are going to give us a lot of power next year.
Well, it's like I told the gals at Midland in the last interview. I said, in order to stay number one, you got to be number one. And you guys are number one right now, and it's well-earned. Coach, thanks for taking time out to be with us tonight. This has been an absolute treat. Good luck in the future. Really enjoyed watching you guys, and if ever anybody deserved a championship, it was you. After the heartbreak last year, so happy for you and Tim and all the boys. Thanks for coming on tonight. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lou.
All right. He's Tanner Cook, the departing head coach of the Air Force Academy. What a way to go out. That is on top. Wow. What a great show. What a great year. I get a little melancholy at this time, wrapping up another season of the ACHA Power Play. But again, just it'll make me look forward to this fall with season 11. We start out, like I said, in September. We talk to the defending champions, and we talk to the teams that are chasing, and that's all part of it. We're going to have more players on in the fall and the winter, and start it all over again come September. So again, I want to thank Craig Barnett. I want to thank Dave Kurtz for coming on. Dave for coming on a couple of times here this year. Him and I were the ones that got this started 10 years ago. We talked about it. I remember talking to him on the phone about it. We talked for about an hour. What were we going to do just as a D3 show and how it's taken off. Again, the national tournament, want to thank Russ Schlegel, for all the work he did. Brendan Russ, I mean, for him, Devin, the social media guru, all the videos and everything. Again, thank all the coaches, all the commissioners. Let's see, Derek Connor at D3, Brian Moran at D1. I know I'm forgetting people. I'm drawing a blank. Molly Mahoney and Taylor at a D2. Thank you all for your access. I want to thank my tag team partners this year at the Nationals, Peyton Turnage and Devin Sarah. It was a lot of fun, and that's what it's all about. But I want to thank the players too for making it possible, and the coaches. And I say it all the time. The amount of work that these kids put in on the ice and off the ice to make all this possible. They're the true heroes. They're the workers. What I get to do here, this is easy. I get the joy of talking to them, talking about them. I marvel at what these kids do on the ice, in the classroom, in the community. It's a great thing. And it culminates with all the effort they put in, getting that opportunity to make it to St. Louis and play for all 5 championships. And, again, just so much fun. And next up for the ACHA, their national meetings in Nashville in May. And then I know it's kind of a slow period for them in the summer. I know they do things behind the scene, then it gets cranked up again in September. So, all right, that's going to do it. Season 10 in the books for the ACHA Power Play. Thanks to everybody that came on throughout the year. Without you, it wouldn't be possible. And again, thank you, the viewer, for allowing us into your homes. Tonight, though, I want to thank Barry Schutte and Matt Zazon from Ohio University. Great conversation with them. I want to thank Taylor Bell and Megan Stewart from Midland, the women's national champions. And, of course, Barry and Matt from Ohio, the now brand new men's Division I champions. And I also want to thank Tanner Cook, coach of the Air Force Academy. They're on top as the best team in Division III. All right, we got 5 champions. We're going to have at least one brand new champion next year. Sioux College bumps up to D1 on the women's side. So until then, thanks to everybody for coming on again. We thank you for welcoming us into your homes, on your computers, your laptops, your iPhones, televisions, however you watch us around the world here on the ACHA Power Play on the Captain Lou Sports Network. Oh, yeah. I'd be remiss without a special shout out to Rasty McGibbon, of course, the voice of the ACHA, the 5-minute major guy. You see him on Instagram all the time. He's one of my favorite guys as well. Shout out to you, Rasty. So part of the family. Andy Storrs, and the Hall of Fame public address announcer. We spent a lot of time together throughout the years. Joey Caprio with the Capper Hockey Services. Oh, we get to talk more about those too, by the way, with the national showcases that the ACHA puts on. Absolutely amazing. All right, I know I rambled on and on. It's time to sign off. Hey, everybody, have a great summer. Have a great spring. I know I'm gonna. We'll see you around the rink this year. I'm gonna be peeking around more often than you know, since now I got a little more free time. So if you see this old bald head, make sure you stop by and say hi, would you? All right, until then, Captain Lou saying, keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. So long.